الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. أما بعد, جزاكم الله خير, my dear respect brothers and sisters. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless this gathering and make this gathering for His sake. Brothers and sisters, as we continue our journey with the book of Imam al-Qayyim, The Disease and the Cure, we started to talk about loves and the different kinds of loves. And today, bidnillah ta'ala, we're going to be talking about the level of ishq, or the level of extreme love. The levels of extreme love. Ibn al-Qayyim, he said, وَلِلْعَاشِقِ لَهُ ثَلَاثُ مَقَامَاتٍ. He said that the one who is in the stage of an extreme love, he is one of three different levels. Okay, مقام الابتدائي, this is a beginner level, ومقام التوسط ومقام الانتهاء. It's either you are a beginner or somewhere in the middle or at the end. And he said in the beginning, when someone started to love, what happened, and how does someone start start to have this type of extreme love, in which that here we're talking about not just love. Here we're talking about ishq, and we've talked about this in Arabic. The word ishq, it means extreme type of love, things that makes love that would make you do things above and beyond. Okay, and this is kind of when it affects your affect your personality, affect your mental status, affect your behavior. You are becoming now more like as an addict. Again, in Islam, there is nothing wrong with someone loving in halal way his wife, his fiance, or etc. Nothing wrong with that. But here we're talking about when someone uses this love in inappropriate pathways, meaning again, no marriage, no fiance, nothing, and he goes about it in an extreme way. So the very first type, with someone in the beginning, how does this happen? This is beyond the normal ways of how someone is introduced to a woman. In the beginning, usually how people like an individual, he likes her, or he likes her looks, or he likes the way she behaves, or she or he's attracted to her, and then gradually things become deep into his heart, to the point that he would what he said. Ibn al-Qayyim, he said, مدافعة بكل ما يقدر عليه, that he would try to push any sort of barriers between him and her. And here we're talking about, brothers and sisters, many types of barriers. It could be financial, it could be psychological, it could be religious, it could be physiological, meaning like it could be she's living in a different state and you are living in a different state. So what happens is you try to push any sort of barriers, okay, to get to your lover, okay. And this is in the beginning, okay. He said when someone surpasses that, and he to the point that he would seek assistance from others to achieve his goals, and this is kind of in the middle stage, and at the end it would become he become irrational in the way he behaved, and this is at the end. At the end, when someone become extremely irrational, meaning that he's willing to do things that are above and beyond, possibly lose all his money, or possibly kill for the sake of his love, or possibly he would commit a suicide for the sake of his love. So this is kind of the late stage, okay. So in the beginning, what happened is he would try to break all the barriers to get to his love, and this is by himself. But what happened is when you surpasses that, this kid we're talking about, like in the middle level, you would the individual, what happened, subhanallah, and this is kind of tangible. You will see this a lot of times among the youth and or among even adults who approach this in an irrational way. He does not, he would seek the help of other people, in which that he would, for instance, ask assistance to get to his goal, or etc. And he does not even care what people think about him. And subhanallah, that's kind of the issue here that many people tend to fall into, is that subhanallah, they would commit a fahisha, or commit a sin, and they neglect their reputation. They neglect it. And that's why, brothers and sisters, when we say, for instance, in the beginning level, when someone tried to break all the barriers, we talked about many different type of barriers. It could be, like I said, it could be religious. Like, for instance, he would say, well, you know, he does not think that Allah, he does not think what what's the ruling of this. He does not care what possibly his reputation is going to be affected. He does not care what his parents would think of him. He does not care what his family structure would be. He does not care if he, like, for instance, he tried to, his goal is how he break the barriers to get to his level, to his level, and that's unfortunately the stage where a lot of times people tend to justify things for themselves. But she likes me, or I likes her, or she's worth the sacrifice. And a lot of times, the moving factor is based on feelings, and based on possibly hormonal, or based on just pure sensations, not based on the fact that this individual is using his brain, you know, to get to something that is going to be of benefit. And we talked about this in the past. And a lot of times, and we talked about this before, that if you want to get anything in life, you have to evaluate: is it beneficial to you or not beneficial to you? But what happened is here, he's putting his brain aside. It's as if somebody unhooks his brain and he's just put it in the disk, and now he's operating based on what his feelings would instruct him to do. So what happened is he would not care. He would not care of what people think of him. He would not care, and if people say bad things about him. And that's why, brothers and sisters, people in this situation, especially when it comes to haram relationship, people like to grab on things. Yeah, and a lot of times people tend to exaggerate them. Sometimes people like to add things to the real story. And subhanallah, throughout history, these things happen. Yeah, for instance, and if you look at the people who have fallen into the hadithat al-ifk, where people have wanted to harm the reputation of Sayyidah Aisha radiallahu anha. What's the fact that they went off of? What's the only fact that they thought the wife of the Prophet, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, went out with another man? The only thing is the fact that the fact that they saw Aisha late in a caravan. That's it. And the fact that another man was late with him, then khalas, they built their imagination, or this happened, or possibly this happened, and they made people made together, and that's how things tend to develop gradually, based on imagination, based on doubts, and based on what people feelings and experiences. So that's what happened, is, brothers and sisters, that when someone gets into this level of ishq, you're opening yourself a door of ruining your reputation. You're ruining yourself a door of you destroying your image in the front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is much more importantly, but also with the people. And we know, based on our deen, the two go together. Your reputation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to be reflective of how your reputation is going to be between the servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is the important, brothers and sisters, the fact that you will see that this individual, he gets to the middle level where he's asking others to aid him to get into his goal. Again, here the start of him losing his rationality, as Ibn al-Qayyim has said. And what happened is, these people, like I said, they would ask to aid others and help others in their haram. And that's why, for instance, in Islam, if you look at Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "La'ana Allahu al-ra'ish," the one who the intermediately person between the person who is bribing and the person who is receiving the bribe. Like, for instance, in Islam, bribing someone, like giving someone money to something go easy for him, whether you are like a governmental office or whether you are in any sort of institution. When you bribe someone to give him money to make something go easy for you, okay, this is considered a bribe, and it's Islam haram. So what Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam he said if some, so you have usually the equation of someone bribing someone. You have the one who's given, a person who's given the money, and the receiving end. But there's also a person in the middle sometimes who is trying to arrange between the person who is bribing and the person who is receiving the bribe. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said he cursed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cursed that individual. To tell you what, that when you're aiding, and that's the point, when you're aiding someone into committing a sin, sometimes you are receiving the same type of sin yourself, you know. And the same thing would apply here. When someone is aiding someone to commit zina, or someone committing someone to hook him up with this woman or to hook her up with this guy, as if you are committing the same sin. So, yeah, sometimes people would laugh at it. Sometimes people would, make fun of it. Oh, they're too cute. I'm trying to help them. No, but at the end of the day, you're committing haram too. And if they committed zina, if these two couples have committed zina, you'll get the same sin. You will get the same sin. For instance, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, um, he have another example. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he cursed a person who make takhbib on a woman against her husband. What is the word takhbib? Meaning that if a woman or a man came to a woman and he tried to tell her bad things about her husband, or a man came to his friend to tell her bad thing about his wife, trying to instigate, oh, you don't know, she have done this or you have done that. So what happened is you're trying to separate between the two. So just like it's haram to bring two people together in the haram, it's also haram when you're aiding to separate a relationship. And that's the message here too. And we call it in Islam تخبيب. خببت. المرأة خببت على بعلها. That a woman have, she received the news on her husband. How? Like again, let's say maybe a brother, or a sister, she came to her to her brother and tell, oh, your wife have done this. What's your goal of you telling him about his wife, or you telling her about her husband? What's the goal? It's for you to instigate, to tell, to make fighting amongst them, and this is also considered to be a curse on them. And if someone does this, trying to separate people, and this is, and we know this is the act of the shaitan. Shaitan, he is the one. One of the prime goals of the shaitan is how could he destroy family, and you here as a human being, this is what you're doing. And in Islam, it's considered to be one of the greatest sins, akbar al-kabair, for someone. And that's what Ibn Qayyim is saying here. It's considered one of the fact that you're destroying a family because of you thought, or because you felt like it, or because it seems nice to you. To destroy a family because of the fact that you are instigating a woman against her husband, or instigating a man against his wife. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. Why in Islam, brothers and sisters, why in Islam it's haram if a man should ask for a hand of a woman if he knows that his brother is going to ask for it? You see? So you would not create this hate among sisterhood and brotherhood. Like, for instance, if let's say a man, he knows that this individual is going to ask for this sister hand, so I go before him and ask for it. It's haram. نهى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أن يخطب الرجل على خطبة أخيه. That he would, Prophet Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم said, for you to seek engagement over the engagement of your own brother, so you could what, take her before she does. Again, the whole purpose here is for you to create hate, instigate between the family, and etc. And then here, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى ولا تعاونوا على الإثم والعدوان. Aid each other in doing good, but don't in each other in committing sins and animosity between the people. You know, and that's what this individual who is going forth about his love, his extreme love, is aiding others and asking others to help, and people are aiding him. You know, and aiding him. And by the way, and this is something is worthwhile to mention. If someone if someone was instigating a man or a woman to do something bad, and let's say he regret what he have done, he made tawbah, would that be enough? What do you guys think? Would that be enough? See, he made tawbah. He said, whatever I was doing is haram, and I'm regretting what I'm doing. Would that be enough? No, because now here you seek forgiveness from the sin that you have committed against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Fine. But what about the fact that you have destroyed families? So you have the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inshallah would forgive you. But what about the right of the people others? You have to also seek their ask them to forgive you for what you have done. And that's something important, brothers and sisters, to take into consideration. You could be asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala 1,000 times, but at the end of the day, if they have not forgiven you, then still, and that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the hereafter, brothers and sisters, part of the justice of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam have narrated to us in the hadith, he said Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring these people who have people have transgressed against them or have destroyed them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would bring them in the hereafter to them, خُذْ مِنْ حَسَنَاتِهِ مَا شِئْتَ. Take from his good deeds as much as you want. Take from his good deeds as much as you want in the hereafter. And this is the justice. Because if you harmed him in the dunya, this is going to be your punishment in the hereafter. So it's important, brothers and sisters, that you would maintain and don't try to be a person who is an instigator, a person who try to make fitna. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَالْفِتْنَةُ أَشَدُّ مِنَ الْقَتْلِ. That creating fitna, creating trials, and creating disputes is worse than killing someone. Because when you kill someone, khalas, it's over, he did. But when you try to instigate, it runs through ages sometimes. Sometimes it carries on, and have not only one individual is harmed, many distant people can be within the family and within the tribe. So important, brothers and sisters, for us, it's people would have to think about this. And sometimes, when someone again here we're talking about when someone goes into extreme levels of love, he would even do the undoable. Sometimes they would go to a sahir, a magician, so he could ask for him to make magic on that man or that woman or that or that individual. Sometimes he would lose all his money. Sometimes he would even ask he would if his lover told him to kill this individual, she would kill him. And sometimes for instance, he would go leave the religion. And we always know the story of a man, a mu'adhin. We talked about this in the past. A mu'adhin, a person who was making adhan, and while he was making adhan, he looked down and he saw a beautiful woman. Because he could not handle himself, he went to knock into his door. He told him, she told him, I'm not going to let you marry me unless you leave Islam. And he left. For subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, see how when you open the doors, how things can trickle down and where it can move you. And that's why, brothers and sisters, when someone reach that kind of extreme love, you become not only harming yourself, you're harming others. You be harming people to the extreme. And you would destroy yourself and destroy your money and destroy other people's lives, and you become irrational like a crazy person. And that's why, brothers, is for us to think about this, because that's what the khutuwat al-shaitan that we're talking about. If this is not, and that's why, this is going to be a matter of time, wallahi, brothers and sisters, and that's why it's important when you're in the beginning levels and you get these reminders and these kind of clues. Fear Allah. Fear, what are you going out with this? Fear the consequences. Fear your reputation. Know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to count you. Know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He knows what you're doing. Know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with you. And if someone have removed all these things and struggled, then that's why eventually it's going to be just a matter of time before he reach these, malignant states of love. And that's the message here, brothers and sisters. And I hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would protect us from this and protect all of us from reaching such a crazy levels. Otherwise, you're nothing but destroying yourself and destroying the people around you. I hope that you get the message here, and I hope Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would guide us and confirm us in the faith. جزاكم الله خير لحسن استماعكم. سبحانك وبحمدك نستغفرك ونتوب اليك والعصر ان الانسان لفي خسر الذين يعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. جزاكم الله خير والسلام عليكم ورحمه الله وبركاته.